Yeah, just find the right position. Just adjust it so we get the It's streaming, it's fine.
The girls say we're not being happy. Are you okay with that? Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Sorry about this. We're doing the live. We're doing the live stream. I think we're okay.
Look, do you want to pass him to me for me? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, three. Yeah, we used to have head down from door, but whoever used to get me, I was going to and before I time was not longer when she likes it, we kiss. You bet that way, Kevin. No, wait, no, it's not. I'll tell you what, let me play it. Kevin, play it. Don't play it. No, I don't. God, you talk off. So I've done three.
The worst thing about that, Ron Farris, he went convicted paedophile and entertainer. No, get rid of the entertainer. He's a convicted paedophile.
Basically, it's a nonce.
So I'm an entertainer with it.
One question though.
Right, her pick will be on this fucking page here.
Casey's top 6, and it's got to be a Wyvern now. It's got to be a Wyvern now. It's got to be a Wyvern now.
Casey's Tommy,
It's a Wyvern now. You know where he used it? And I've got another Wyvern. 2 Wyvern. Whenever you get that, he's probably the best English dog. Price is what? English. can see hurry up Jordan qualifying. That's done.
Being that all of them wasn't quite coming out for us.
Do you not think that's throw away?
Hey, can I also be cross? He's a strong parameter.
He's lying. It was him, and he couldn't do it. And I was there live.
You got beaten short at Barry like 27-19.
No, not good. I was there tonight. I was there, yeah. Correct. It was one of those things he did. And he kept the watch around like where he came around the field. Yeah.
He's had a 5-race round since his judge.
So just feel sorry for it.
He was the top 6. Not even
He's meant to be coming. Good dog. Talk about bad news,
That's a big prize, as I say.
All that fun and games with your that dog in the race was like, you know, I don't know where that would come from. They're 10 bucks, isn't it? They're
I'm already on it. I'm already on it. He's a dog, a bit of a thinker.
all of us, like, one day, he said, Simon said, like,
I'm already on.
you're going to be there.
Smallest thing ever.
709.
So, the quality, he needs one solo and 2 people.
Chelsea next year.
The currency takes 6 points off you lot next year. You lot, by the way, are miles off it. You are miles off it. Look, Man City's under 23's beat you. No, you know what? You know, the Chelsea fans, the last 19 years have been yam and all that on a Saturday. Honestly, you are so far off. Who do you want to win?
When you get the 6
Dirty.
that's it. Obviously, got the hands sticks and they're trying to pull it. Remember that.
I told you that. Have you been a tourist? Have you been a tourist today? What time to train out?
they work fine. They're just they're so he's step as a Ukraine male, so he's got the big so he's done some money on that.
For this breed, do you have a shot now?
That's what he's got on there.
That's where we are. We got an Uber. Ah, when we're not ready to bring me to a night-time version. Sounds it. I might go for a piss and make it worthwhile being here.
What's this guy's name? All at Toaster. Lobster styles and Greyhound Girls. Greyhound Boy 3, yeah. But the fuzzy thing, and I bet the fuzzy thing away. I'm asking, oi, by the way, he's 3 to 1, he should be 6 to 4. It's you, right? Anytime I see a blue on Oztracker, I think Billy Brennan fucker. And when I start wanking myself, it's all good. Yeah, it's all top. It's all top, right top.
You're the other way with it, man. That's too big, that. I got down here when I was 3 to 1.
And I went to Billy Brennan.
Yeah, 2 more there. Talking Brennan in the back. It's too big. It's just too big.
You must get some bills accounts. They price it off. Hey, you know before she came to the game, by the way, you're much better now. No, you're better now than you were. No, I mean, you're much better than and just go home. But I'm on 5 and 6, goes 4 gas, so they seem to have 4 races, and you win that, like, and Lucas up 6. No, you actually win that, because you now, sometimes then he goes to 4 and 3. Nah, she goes into 4 and 3 now and again. Always, all on top 4, it's a void, so he you are very I'm not yet. Oh, wait. No chance. No, that is. You're right. No, but you're on. Look at you. You're alright.
No, I don't think Matt's wearing these sets.
Depends on your old with that.
Okay, but
Fred, thank you very much.
Come here. Look at the hairline these days. What's the story? You let it grow out, are you? Huh? You're more like a tennis ball these days. What's the story? It's better than being an egg. Huh? Are you booked the hotel?
Train's away home, isn't it? Well, no,
By the way, I'm on my
I've had an email saying disruption alert, train from London to Cardiff may be disrupted, so that is our reason to stay over.
Do you know what you do? Absolutely 100% blame me. Because in fairness, when am I ever going to meet your missus and go right?
You'll never come to Derby for Ireland, that's my reason, so you'll never will.
I'm sorry.
And if I ever go to Ireland to work, you'll never come. There you go. If you're going for a bit,
I must say, I give my wife a compliment. Because they always say to her, you're much better than I am if you drink something. You know? How's things going? You show friends tonight? Danny's staying with the two boys. We're all having the piss. We're going to end up in nightclubs and all sorts.
Little print there, come on. Have I done like rubber?
Fairness, when you finally get yourself a woman, it's well worth holding on to it. You know what I mean? You might as well hold on to it. Where is the I have to get there tomorrow. The last 3 times I've been there, 3 different cities. 54. You have to be careful with all the bridges. It's falling down, you know. Falling down. Falling down. From the bridge, it's falling down. My fair lady. Oh, we need it. No problem. Good luck. Good luck. Been nice, been nice.
Kiss chase. All right.
Hope you enjoy the preview tonight. So we'll leave you in the capable hands of Dave Clark, who's going to be hosting and presenting it tonight. So if you can try and find a good vantage point, we'll get going very shortly. Apologies for this.
You want to get there? You sure? Thank you. That's so much better.
Okay, right, I think everyone who was coming is here. So welcome all to a very plush shopping event. Toilet upstairs is better than my toilet indoors. Right, we're going to kick off with a little game. If you're able to, stand up. It's going to be simple, heads or tails. Last man standing, or lady standing, will clock a £250 free bet tonight. So if everyone can stand, very simple. Heads or tails, one after the other. If you get it incorrect, you have to sit down. If you're correct, still in the game, stay standing. Question number 1 is how many Derby finalists has Graham Holland trained in the last 4 years? The last 4 years. Heads, 4, so put your hands on your head and you think 4, or 5, hands behind your back. Towels, 4 or 5, heads 4, towels.
I'm looking at one of the ovals.
mixture, which is good.
I don't know.
Right, how many Derby finalists Grand One and trained in the last 4 years? The answer is 5.
Get me up there! Get me up there! Get down, sit down, sit down. Sit down, sit down. Sit yourself down. You unfortunately sit down, sir. You unfortunately sit down.
Right, question number 2. Who was the shortest price winner of the Ground Derby in the last 10 years, dating back to Signage Jack winning in 2013? Heads, the Rhodes Wildcat, or tails, JT Jet?
Fine, JT
Hands
Jet.
on your head, you think the Rhodes Wildcat,
74.
and behind your back, it was the JT Jet.
I wanted to win.
Left in? Quite that many, yeah?
No, but we can have
The
some
answer is towels. You've got your hands on your head, you've got JT Jet 15 to make the Rhodes Wildcat 2 times. This is the Wallace champion trainer, might not appreciate it. Mark Wallace was last represented in a Ground Derby final back in 2018. Doubly represented, in fact, by Bruce's Bullets and Bomber's Bullets. But which order did they come home? Heads for Bomber's Bullet in 4th, Bruce's Bullet in 5th. Or tails, Bruce's Bullet in 4th, and Bomber's Bullet in 5th.
Who's left?
So it's one of the other.
What a sick it is there, by the way.
Right, how many people have we got left in?
2.
Ryan, Emily. Is that it? Anyone else?
You don't know, we are fights, haven't we?
Anyone else?
What have you got?
The answer is towels. So
That's right, go on. Emily, we were relying on you though. You went for it.
First round out. First ever Ground Derby winner back in 1927 at White City. He wasn't winning favourite. What was his starting price? Heads were bigger than evens, or tails were shorter than evens.
That's a mean question.
Let's Google it, hold on. Google.
Entry badge, SP, heads bigger than evens.
Can't be heads.
Shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes.
Right.
No one's on the dab.
If you put your hands on your head, you are out.
You're fucking used. These fucking weapons here. I'm going to do it.
Jerry Clueless.
Jeremy sponsorship is already working for this moment alone.
And that the injury badge is 1 to 4. Lofty put it in at 6 to 4 after the
Is it hand timed?
Wimbledon was the last track in London to stage the Derby, 2016. How many derbies were held at Wimbledon? Heads, 32. Tails, 33.
Benjamin, my fingers and toes.
Heads 32, tails 33.
The match on.
Okay, right. In 1985, the Derby at Wimbledon was won by Pagan Swallow. In 2016, it was won by JT Jet. There were 32.
She's actually expelled from the
The
family.
condition of that, Emily, is that bet has to be struck right now. You can have £250 win, £125 each way. Which one of Patrick Jansen's dogs will you be?
I'm going to go my own.
Yep,
And I'm
good.
going to go 125 each way on my iMath.
Why on?
Get on that. Get on. The price is that now. Get on that.
Sorry, don't actually know what I know.
Right, welcome everyone. Anyway, that's that out of the way. A little bit of fun. Along the line, Martin Chapman, Lofty, Star Sports fan. Probably going to go a silly price the track record to go tonight, but he's made for the specials. What's been business for tonight?
Steady enough, yeah, quite early days. Made a few lumpy bets for Portsmouth, so the usual suspects like Ballymac, the Irish dogs, so I'm sure they'll be telling us in a minute they can't win, but Ballymac, Field, Clover, Tube, Another lumpy lace on the arse, and then it's all the Irish stuff you use.
All the Irish
You
stuff.
said Finn, yeah. Finn
Talking of
colours,
Irish, Ian Fortune, man on the mic at Shelbourne Park, joins us, talking all things Irish. What's the team like this year? Could be in?
Smaller, but pretty talented. There are a couple of standout performers, but you know, in years like we saw Francis Blake when you're on the screen there, I wouldn't have backed them 1,000 to 1 when Derby and pops up and Derry finally wins it. We have a few dogs that could certainly progress. Yeah, we're strong. Obviously, we're a bit top heavy, but I do think there's plenty of talent there. Just open for the best.
Good stuff. And a round of applause, everyone, for the champion trainer, Mark Good seeing the dogs this year, Mark. Obviously, you're in a little bit of a transition period. I think it'd be fair to say it, but an exciting time, always heading into the derby.
Yeah, I must admit, a month ago I didn't think we'd have more than 2 or 3 entries in derby, but we've through some of these young dogs in that we've got, I think they're very talented, and you never know. We've done it before, and kind of ready was only just 2 years old when he was back in 2009, so you never know. It's a young, exciting thing.
Good stuff. Thank you for joining us, Mark. So you're 13-time champion trainer, twice a winner of the derby as well, so a man who knows what it takes. And on to Mr. Ben Keith, making tonight happen, making the derby happen, joins us. But I know you're going to say your piece, but derby time, exciting, right?
I mean, really, what I wanted to say is, I think that Greyhound racing means so much to all of us in different ways, and evokes different feelings and senses. Now, when I go into a bookshop, that smell of a bookshop is completely unique, or a library, and I'm excited to think about what book I'm going to get and what I'm going to learn. Now, when I first went Greyhound racing, there isn't a single sense that when the lights went down that first time, that it didn't evoke completely and light up in me. The sound, you know, the hair is on the move, the traps cracking open, you know, the feeling as they run towards the first bend. And I've enjoyed in the last week looking at some of the previous winners. And I saw Westmead Hawk's first winner, first time that he won. And it made me think of Bob Morton, who I think we all know at the moment isn't a well boy. But as we enter now into this Greyhound Derby, this is like starting a new book. New characters, new heroes will emerge. There will be disappointments, there will be twists, there will be turns. And Bob Morton is in a place now where, with all of his success, I cannot believe that some of his deepest feelings when he looks back on his life were say that night when this is a man who put a lot into the game when Westmead Hawke first won the Derby. Now, each of us this year will play our own part in the Greyhound Derby and somehow add to it. Whether this year we end up being a cast member or one of the leads. And remember, whatever happens, nobody can take away the history and story of this year's Greyhound Derby. And here's another thing. In this room, we all come together for the Greyhound Derby each year. We then come together maybe most of us at the Greyhound Derby lunch. And then on Greyhound Derby final night, people come from all over the world. And it is the sense and feeling of family and togetherness and showcasing our sport, which I believe is the most powerful sense that Greyhound racing has ever given me. So this year, let's all work together, showcase our sport, and think about those dogs that they just got us, and that was it. There was no turning back. This year, there will be people entering the game, and this year's winner will be their Greyhound Derby introduction. The dog that got them hooked, that literally took their senses. So I'd like to thank everybody in the Greyhound racing family for making the Derby and the sport what it is, and let's have the best Greyhound Derby final ever and make a great story together. Thank you very much.
A little bit of the Ben's words there on sort of everyone's fondest memories. Mark, I'll let you add to it if you like, of sort of Derby's down the year. Start with you. I think it can be a winning back, good thing you got chins, anything.
Plenty of hard luck stories, but probably like the Wildcat. I have plenty of dogs we kept up down the years, and kept up with the smashing fella. I bet the dogs win, a lot of you did as well. I bought an island the first time. And it was stumbled at the track. I drew it out in track 4 and then I did the draw. I got so much grief. God was going to kill me one night. Come up to the other draw in track 4, fell over in the box. He had all the place in the third bend and nothing out at the third bend, just done its running. So the following year, of course, when it come out and won, I mean, everyone knew the story. Kevin, the dog Steve, the kennels and all that. Then we got back part 1, Bob, the Bill that owns the same dog name now, Scansbury. It was the last of the fight. It was very emotional. And look, it was a big night for Kevin, and he always wanted to go on the act toast to his own track, and the dog did it well, and I'm so pleased with everybody. And it was a real feel-good factor and a real good story. So yeah, probably great Wildcat. For the person who never smashed him the uncles I did the year before, but yeah, it'd certainly be my 5 years ago. 5 years ago, yeah, my punting memory. If I have a bad one, it would be back in probably a bit before something. It's got a dog called Nimbo Jack, Charlie Lister's. It was a tremendous early pace dog. It was back in the days when not every fella bet 6th place, they used to bet 4 places. So I bet with that, but someone gave me, for some reason, give me like 60 quid or something one night at Sandown for a favour I done for him. So I had the 60 quid or 30 quid each way at 33 to 1. I thought, come the final, he's an old enough dog, get the lead to win, obviously. I thought we've done the lead and finished last. William Hill though to finish last. He was like the 7-2 to finish last. I was working Ben Walker, so Ben Walker stayed, I ain't going to tell you where he finished. So that's probably got
the moral of the story is that Lofty doesn't do a favour less than 60 quid.
That's a favour.
Ian, which Irish train win is that going to be?
There's a lot. I like, while I'm Irish, and obviously the Irish Derby for me is huge, huge importance. The English Derby always had more on the line, because obviously, you're sort of support your own, we sort of have a collective. And I've got some great memories, and my first great memory of the English Derby, I was lucky enough to be present in 1992, the Farrell Melody's Derby success of standing behind my father and the legendary owner, Hercules Cool. In Ireland isn't just a Greyhound or anything, he's got top GA, nearly top personality. He's just a much loved figure, and I was standing behind them while they called the Derby Farrell Melody winning, of course, from that on. And that was spectacular. It was on. I don't think I've ever heard noise like that on a Greyhound track. It was just the most incredible night. For Loyal Honcho to win, having gone so close to Premier Fancy a couple of years earlier, for Seamus Graham, who was like an uncle to me, and was more than just a Greyhound trainer. I grew up with Seamus, and he trained all our dogs. My grandfather knew him very well. My father, obviously, was great pal with him, had all their dogs with him, so that was great. Last year was a great feeling for me, calling a winner, and calling an Irish winner, as I did in Nottingham with Bryce Blake. All great memories, but if I had to pick one memory from the English Derby, it probably would be that night Farrell Melody. Ben put it so perfectly. You remember these dogs, your first real derby. My first real Irish derby was Arthur Mick. For me, Arthur Mick was just, he will always be my favourite dog ever. And Farrell Melody was the great kennel companion, stroke rival for that year through 1991. And I was like Farnell Melody was the Liverpool to Arthur Mick being Manchester United. And Arthur Mick broke his leg in Shawfield. And as a kid, I was about 12, 13 years of age, I remember crying. My father got an answering machine from the Irish Press when he left the Irish Press. And he left a message from Shawfield that night. He was in Shawfield. He said, Arthur Mick led the third down. He was gone clear and broke his leg. And as a child, I saw it. So the following year, when Farnell Melody took, I almost felt that he passed on that. So to be there the night he won the derby was truly spectacular. And the noise, as I said, and it just, Ben said it so succinctly, like I can remember the smells, I can remember the atmosphere, I can remember just the buzz. I've never experienced it in my life. And even now talking about it, I can feel the hair standing up. So it'll take something very, very special to top Farnell Melody. I probably need to own the derby, which at this stage is pretty unlikely considering I can't get an A5 and never mind a derby.
Mr. Wallace, long snapper, kind of ready. You can have both if you like.
Well, certainly outside getting married on children, I think kind of ready. Derby was the greatest moment in my life. Just sensational. I remember it was yesterday. I could think of two good stories. I'll keep one brief. I got to know the owner of Slippy Blue, Mr. Alan Carter, who lived in Newmarket, and he told us, I think he was trained by Tim Tell, Ken Lindsall, yeah, and he told us a couple of months before, I think my dog picked it up, and me and my father had a few quid, and it was only a few quid, 20 quid each way, 10 quid each way, 50, 33, and when he won that day, it was fantastic. Anyway, at the time, we owned my father owned a news agents in Newmarket, and I knew Alan, and all I could think of was that Alan's going to be so pleased. And Alan actually waited outside our shop when he on his drive back from Wimbledon. And he waited at our shop at 3 o'clock in the morning for me and my father to open sort of 4:30 on a Sunday morning. And we couldn't believe it, obviously. And how he came in his dinner jacket and he brought the trophy and he dropped it on our freezer. And he said, wow, this is fantastic. And I just remember at the time saying, this was 15, 20 years before we actually won. I said, Alan, I'm going to win that trophy. He says, oh, what are you going to do? You might have to spend a lot of money buying some dogs to win that. I said, no, I'm going to train to win this trophy.
What age was you?
I think I was about 23, 24, whenever Slippy.
Cocky bastard.
Yeah, and it came true. Dreams come true. That one particularly came true. It was so unfortunate that Alan actually died a couple of years later in a car accident, and he never got to see me sort of bring this dream, make this dream come true, and he didn't see it. But that's one of my overriding memories of what that Greyhound derby means. And he was in my thoughts when we won it that year as well.
Well, we are going to move on to sort of the anti-post book. Mark, you've got a good team this year, but before we drill down into all the runners, and particularly your runners, Lofty is going to go top price, the dog that you think is your best chance of a winner in this year's derby. So, which one and why?
We've got 7 of which are very inexperienced young runners that they haven't had more than 20 or 30 races between them over the years so far. But we've got one dog that's a standing addition to Salisbury and Antique Diggin. He's racing, but he's going to be retired shortly after the derby. He's a good benchmark dog, but I don't think he can win a derby if I was honest. Looking at some of these youngsters, I like New Ranger, but he's got a terrifically hard first round lead. we've got a couple of bitches in there that can run a bit. They're young and experienced, but the actual dog I like, which we only decided at the very, very last minute to enter, mainly because of his age. He's only in September, but he was so impressive at home. He's Ballymac, John, and you know he tore a very, very good field apart at home in a puppy competition there. Didn't run so well at Monmore, but I get the feeling that Monmore perhaps wasn't quite his track. And he trialled and did a very good 29.19 back at Toaster. So, you know, we know that he handles Toaster really well. Obviously, he was brought in sales at Toaster, and he would be my choice. If he could keep getting some good draws, then I think if, you know, sometimes age won't matter if they're good enough. Then age doesn't matter.
He's a middle seed?
No, he's a round.
Right, so
he wants a round.
he wants one.
He won from track 5 at home, but there was 5 races in the final. I think he's potentially could get under the 29 here, which I think in this year's start you've got to do to win it. So he would be my big choice for that.
Good team. We'll talk about some of the other runners. Lofty, what you got for us now? What price is Ballymac John?
Mark's in the 100, he's 50, so I suppose a little bit
I think you know what price he was on.
We've got to be 51 every day. What's the next price up? 66, isn't it? If you look at 50, it's a bit big win, isn't it? I think. Yeah, so they give it 66 to one there. As it's
Anyone who wants
industry
to-
best price. Have a big, yeah, I've got a little wet step over there. One of I'm sure I'm going to accommodate them for a few.
Right, let's talk the book. But very much the talking dog for a long time. This year's Derby won the Puppy Collar at Oxford, the Olympic at home, the Kent Plate at Central Park, close to the pillar. Seeded wide, not a dog that's going to rip to the bend. I think you're 8 to 1, around about that price.
He was a lot.
Are you full up? Do you
No,
want to take
no,
more? What's the start?
I'm desperate to lane. You know, I'm not in the office now. I'm just on foot. So when I get to Oxford, I'm not. So I go to Oxford Thursday night, get to my place. When I get to Stoke Thursday night, I'm just desperately keen to put him on the anti-post board and try and lane. You know, to me, he's not a wide runner, is he? I mean, you watched him last week from track 6 in his trial. He cut straight in from track 6. First thing he did was take a step to the left. So he's going to be doing that all the time. He hasn't got this in early pace. He's going to find dogs all the time going up the inside of him. He's just, I don't know. I think he's got too much pace to be, it sounds bizarre, the dog's too quick really for the track. He'll sort of miss the break, then pace up, find himself in trouble at the corner, he'll do his run down the back straight, and he'll probably find himself in trouble again at the third end with the same dogs coming to him. I just think, yeah, he's the wrong price.
I will say, talking about the wide sea, when he won that final at Central Park, he didn't come away, but I think the fact he kept out wide was the reason why he won the race.
And when he won at Oxford, I mean, like, we watched him, me and Carl Hughes watched his first ever trial there. We grabbed walked past this and we thought, like, yeah, this is a dog they've been talking about. One of the owners asked me to walk last year back into the Derby. I think he had a 66 chance at the time. Then he asked me for a brand new way in one of the owners. I said, I can't put the bet through the book because, you know, I was basically not really working. So we managed to swerve that. We watched the dog run the first time and I just saw that's the yard early. But down the back straight in that fall, I mean, he took off. You with it yourself that night. He completely missed the break and then like showed a bit of early speed to the second game, but his pace down the back was phenomenal. Yeah, it wasn't like Lauren in the final, it was a good yardstick. She's run the night in the semi-final 3, so it was a fair enough race for what was only a 4-dog edge. He did show blistering speed, but what I've seen in that Toaster, you know, he's up in the rounds after the 3 or 4 strides. No dogs do tend to go to that. I mean, he's clearly a fast dog. He's got all these like 28, 67 trials on his cars. Also, the fact we always have just given him solos. You know, he's had one race in his life that's no sort of pot B, and just kept him away from doing that. That's another thing that
he's on record saying that he thinks the dog needs to build his confidence at his track. And when he ran into the Kent Plate at Central Park, I think he had 3 trials over the 450 before he even steps him up the trip. So. We'll move on, we won't go on too much on the jolly. Ian, I look down the market after that and it's littered with Irish train runners. Salt Rex, Clona Duke, Ballymac Finn, Ballymac Marino, Romeo Magico. Can we sort of get a word on each one from yourself?
We can name 4 classic winners, which is key. A couple of them are dual classic winners. Or sorry, yeah, no, one dual classic.
Let's talk about Soldier Race.
Yeah, he's what price?
It was 8 to 1, 9, 10 to 1, I think now. The 11 now, it's beyond
The day that Graham Holland confirmed he was going to England, I felt he should have been 61. He's a remarkable competition winner. He started in Clonmel, the unrated state, went through it, won it. You look at that final, Drew's next one was second, Drew's nice one was second. She was a Derby finalist. He then went to Kirby Memorial, brilliant winner of that. The dogs that came out of that Kirby were just sensational. He was the winner, and he went to Produce States. He was 2 to 7. The final of Produce States, only for, like, when I say horrendous draws, a dog moving in on him and a dog moving out on him, and just didn't happen for him. And he was beaten by a dog of Pat Buckley's, who would be, don't get me wrong, he's a classic winner, but he wouldn't be raising Pat's top 15. He then had a bit of a break. He came back to Shelburne Park ahead of the Derby with a 29-20 trial, 5.25, which would, if you'd tell me the next day he'd never run again, I wouldn't have been surprised.
What's the second of you expected?
Oh, at least the second off what you expected. He did a second half Derby final night, and I was. You hear a whisper here and there. I didn't ring Graham at that point. I try not to ring the trainers and get into their ear, and I had a time where they really started concentrating on stuff. I left him big, if you hear the whisper from up man. He wasn't out. But it was clear from his Derby and his Derby plate that he just wasn't right. Gave him another couple of weeks and another couple of trials, and all of a sudden things started to happen for him. He returned to Derby final night to 27.79, which in Shelburne Park is scarcely believable. I think only 2 or 3 have done faster, one of which is the dam of Ballymac John. If he turns out as fast as Dam, you could Derby win. Forget about it. She's the fastest bitch ever to race up 5.25 to Shelburne Park. So he took off there, went to Laurels, at a track where he's taking on, and I mean, the speediest of speedy trackers. He's there in the Derby or in the Laurels final. He's beaten him, given the length of the third. It was an unbelievable race, and you think to yourself, he's no right to finish where he did in that sort of country around Cork. Came back this year, won the Easter Cup. I don't think we saw the best of the Easter Cup. I saw him in his first race in the Derby Trials taking a toaster points. I don't care what he's taking on the next season, that's absurd.
Sounds like you think he's the right one to be the shortest across the orange.
I think he should be 6-1 favourite. I genuinely do, because he's proven competition Greyhound. He has sensational runs. If he starts like he did the other evening, that wasn't a free start by him by any stretch of imagination. There's not a Greyhound in the world that pick him up. So I'm hoping that he has that little look in running. You do need luck in running. How often have we spoken about a dog like that that started Derby off? I think he should be favoured. He's not there with the second or third round. He could not there with the first round. I don't know. But all I know is that I'm on the night Graham Holland said he was going to Easter Cup. I was genuinely 4 months later. Simple as that.
Right, next down is Clone and Duke. Is that a bogey in the book?
It is, yeah, we've like 25 to 1, and we laid 14s as well, so yeah, plenty of money about that one.
Clone and Duke.
I'm a fan. I backed him in the Juvenile Derby in the 50s. He was 20 to 1 in the final, so it didn't look like a shrewd move prior to the final, but he won it as a raw Greyhound. He popped out that night. That was his issue in the early sort of 10, 15 starts of his career. He wasn't trapping, but pacing up. On the night of the Juvenile Derby, he popped out one. Came back this year, Kirby Memorial, sensation first and second round, broke the clock, or equal the clock in the second round, popped out. Looks like a flat rate on the next night. You just fear that he probably just left his chances on the ground by doing that big run, but then returned a couple of big runs and won select stakes, being an unbelievable, a really top class wheel, and looks the real deal. I think he's an exceptional player. To win first time out, he told like he did that night, sub 29, just a massive run. He's a dog that's continuing to progress. He's like the standing sire. I don't think we've seen the best of him yet, and the fear for Swords Racket just happens for me this time.
Right, Ballymac Finn, gone up in the Irish Derby.
Yeah, very talented. Funnily enough, I think he'll need to step up in his Irish Derby form to win this competition. But He has all the attributes speed, he's great early speed, he's down the back, and he stays it well enough. He's not what you call a stay stair. He's not going to become a long. I know he's chasing Homeborn Warrior and he got closer to him last year, but I think he's a hell of a dog. The fact of the matter is, the money from the kennel has been for Ballymacarena rather than Ballymacarena, which is a slight concern.
And Liam's team, a small team, but always a classy team.
Fast, very fast. A lot of fast greyhounds. I've backed one of his two, John Joe, who was nominated for a future star in Ireland. If you look back at his national state form from last year, he was showing like incredible pace for himself. Yeah, he's brutal. Nowhere. But that's actually a good in a sense where you speak of from both pillars. Tommy Lyons, who does the podcast with me on Monday, he always uses the expression, he has enough early speed to get himself in trouble, which is foremost. But I think John Joe doesn't. He's going to be getting a look at his rivals most nights. If he gets a clear run off the second bend, it's going to be hard to get out of the frame. If he stays right, he's had issues. He's made a couple of big runs in like earlier in the year, but didn't go into the curving because he picked up a niggle. But Lee was sort of said to me a couple of weeks ago, he said, I think we have him. If he trials okay, we'll go. Trials okay, the twin man 34, late undulation to twin man 32, track is back. It was a good run. He's a very, very fast player. Very hard to pick out the frame and lay back in each way, 66.
Well, one more Irish runner from you then, and I think we'll confirm the biggest spring in the market. Vapors Lariat, seen any money for that one?
Yeah, there's a few, lots of my WhatsApp groups before the Vapors Lariat, a few good judges. I did a podcast with Barry Paul yesterday, he's back in 66, and anything was sort of yes, thinking about it. So I've got I know very little about, but
flew to the corner.
Yeah, he did. Like, he's still 11 spots behind those ranks to the split. But he's a dog I don't know an awful lot about. I haven't actually seen him in the flesh. He ran well in the early rounds of the Kirby Memorial. He's trained by young Jack Kennelly. I think it's just I just love the idea of Jack's coming over here. But Jack's a child. I can say that now. I still feel like a child myself. But Jack really is. Like, he's only a kid. And for him to be bringing this is we look at Kerry men, they have a very high opinion of themselves, not right, Jim. But he's a young man with a big future as a trainer. And for him to go over here with 3 dogs, well, fair play to him. I can't see him winning a derby, cannot. But I'll tell you one thing, he's a dog that's certainly keeping on side.
Big brain.
He's capable of going fast. He's not stopping.
Oh.
Right, okay, we will move on to Mark's team, if that's okay, Mark. Just quickly, I wanted to ask you, if you could train a greyhound currently not in your kennel for this year's derby, which one would it be?
On the English side, I think I like
Yeah, Patrick's on.
and totally agree with Ian here about going back on. I think quite often you get a staying time, they get 16 times. It's not always the ones with, like it says, early getting in trouble. And I think that's, quite strong argument. I think he's a great rugby each one.
Yeah, I'll just reel them off. If that's all right, yeah. I'll fire each name to you. Yeah. Give us a sentence or two on each one. A very interesting dog with a bit of a reputation, big early pace. Why I man?
Yeah, we literally bought him on the quick to have a sort of a runner that's slightly older than the team we already had. That's the problem with these new vaccination rules and everything. I mean, it's been about very little time, and I thought, his spring trial, 3-dog spring trial 2 weeks ago was okay, 15 minutes. But wow, his trial on Sunday, 29, 26, I thought was fabulous. He seems a lovely dog and very, very nice natured and doesn't seem to take a lot out in the daytime. Very laid back, so he would be a lovely dog. I think he's got a reasonable first round, and if he could go past 2 rounds, I could see him the kind of dog that he's got some sketchy runs in Ireland, some very good ones as well. But it's just the kind of dog that we tend to do well with. So if we get the best out of him, I think he's a player.
The old boy Antigua bigger.
Yeah, he could go a couple of rounds, but anything past the round would be a bonus.
New in touch.
dangerous in the first round. It looks like she needs switching about a bit.
Magic Ball Kyle.
Lovely, lovely young dog.
Very good draw in the first round.
Very good draw. Obviously came from the Toaster Sales as well. You know, he could be anything. He's got great early. I wasn't too keen on whether he had enough strength at the end, but you never know. He's very young and inexperienced. He could improve.
What's up?
Again, he's only had the one race in Ireland. Came over here and looked all at sea in his first race. Trialled okay the other day. But very, very tough first round. He could be interesting if he could get through.
Right, we're going to see the judges now. I think Emily put New Ranger up to charity vet. So what are your thoughts on?
Why I man?
I was why I man, sorry. New Ranger then, Mark, lightly race one.
Yeah, I like this dog and I think he's a future stay. But I think he's got a lot of draw, he's outside from both the pillars and looks right away. Just on the from both the pillar and mindfulness on that, and it's an quick one. Can he win a derby? I don't think the problem is in winning the derby. I think his problem is getting to the final. I think if he could get to the final, he can win. But the middle war is wrong. You should have seen the ground like that. Sorry, the wide war is wrong. You should see, if anything, you should see the ground to give himself a better chance. But I don't like criticising. I'm not criticising anybody. I'm just saying it from a betting viewpoint. I think he does get to the final. He's very, very dangerous. I wouldn't want to see any other trainer would not want to see that will be the final.
And finally, Pecking Step.
She's okay. I actually think she's massively overpriced in the bitches market. She's not quite a full ticket, if you want a better word. She drives us crazy, but 125 big best big is outrageous price. Yeah. If she could get through the first round, I'll certainly be having a bit of that. Although I'll be having a bit of that before that.
Mark's mentioned the specials, what you got for us?
Usual stuff, obviously the fastest round the time of the derby we usually do, top bitch, all those sort of markets, the English Irish, which is always popular one back in my day. I mean, the Irish are 46 now, we've had plenty of times with that before, and I'm sure there'll be a market about the Irish finalists later on as well. It's invariably another popular market. Greyhound used to lay the sixth in the Irish final. It's really much possible to happen. Obviously, the big thing, even a few of the ball tonight, is the GWA, the Ground Right Association tipping contest. You don't take part, mate, you're far too important for it. So you obviously we draw. There's a few faces there. Obviously, Danny over there involved, Joe Canning. He's already been well backed to see. The 33 run was snapped very quickly by Joe. I used to do it.
Well,
the word of warning, when he wants to bet me at 20, and Ben King's 100, you may as well bet Ben King for the 100 as opposed to bet me at 20.
just had another non-runner as well, Buzz bet.
Yeah, I just got that, yeah. Well, did a tipping contest. But that's always great fun now, always done for charity. Mr. Fortune's won it 2 of the last 3 years. And
the last 2 years?
The last 2 years. Whatever trophy we got, it's keeping visit this year. But that's always great fun, always quite enjoyable. Bit of banter amongst the journalists and writers and whoever else they want to be. And it's always for a good cause as well. If you ever win on the book, we do put the money to charity. So the last 4 years I've done it, we won it once by about £6.50. So that's what it's got so far. Mainly put back to Mr. Fortune in the last 2 years. But that's always great fun. You look on the website, you see that on there, the GWA ticket challenge. It's always good to know. There's always a big dance fun later on. John Benbow, the Admiral Benbow, he's always quite a short price because he just loves backing 33 to one shots. Look at his tips, everything to 25, 33, 25, 33. For all us to go for the short price favourites, and that's what they always end up being tailed off. So, but that's.
Have you priced up the track record to go? It's not
inevitable. No, but it will. Well, yeah, because obviously the trials one counter, we saw it's around 28, 76. Yeah. Yeah, it's a much bit twice sharp of that. Nottingham.
Can it move B?
8 to 11.
Nottingham.
What time do you think the track record will be?
Getting the high 50s, you reckon?
No,
No, not that. No.
We're going to be 28, 70, 28.
Fastest, because I won't put
I genuinely think that's 28,
No.
70, 60.
that is not a bit, yeah.
If it's going to be beaten, it's going to be beaten in the first
It's
round.
only got to be in the first round.
28
Yeah.
was faster. That's mad.
60, they think. What was the other track? It was
I was at the first year, 29, I think, right?
yeah, first round, wasn't it? No,
First year,
first year.
So can we expect a market there, or are you going to leave that one
I'll
alone?
give a word for that.
Top Mitch,
Top Mitch, yeah, always interesting.
Patrick, the big runner.
I actually quite like that one. There's Missouri who's short of about 16. I think she might go quite deep with her as well. She got bang on 16 weeks that season. We saw what she done last year in the Oaks. I think she's a big runner, yeah. I think we were 11 forward pitch to win the derby. I mean, I think she's doing a slightly better record with the Irish one than the English one, but I certainly think, I think we're going to reach the final. And
She's fresh as it is.
she's dangerous, yeah, she's definitely dangerous. And I know a good friend of mine's very good friends with Patrick, and he's very sweet about her. So she's bang on 16 weeks that season, so she can only go one way. She can only improve during the derby.
See you really get picked up by a dog in an A2 dog.
We all carry bar, it's not very good. Yeah.
Listen, you can, good chance. I'm telling you, she got in through 12 lengths off, all right?
Fair enough.
Okay, she got in through 12.
Jerry Cox with the Perry Bar expert extraordinaire.
Well, the owner is in, so it's
Yeah, Kate Fair as well.
She's 16 weeks, that's where we want her. Same as she was when she went in the Oaks. All she does is improve. She's perfectly positioned now, and we're happy with her. We don't want no, we can't ask no more of her. Where she's is where we want to be.
We won an Irish Oaks back in 95 with a bitch called Crucified, and she was the dam of Queen's Arrival who then through Shattered and Derby winners and whatnot. She was 13 weeks the first round of the Oaks, and she did 30-20 qualified for the final. Hopped out,
Yeah,
did all,
definitely can
you know,
come forward, but you can.
improved 16 lengths.
Yes,
Yeah.
She's really has got to improve 16 lengths and to win this, believe me. She was right for the Perry Bar.
Right, let's get some outlook.
Well, best one.
I can see the diggers are
Well, track record.
I can see the diggers are. So what we're going to do is everyone's going to put up three dogs. And Star Sports are going to give everyone a £100 charity free bet. We'll start with yourself, Mark. We're assuming the charity bet's going to be Ballymac John. Who are the other two?
For me, it's going back to John. So we've got John.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised that he's sort of been on the trip, mainly because of perhaps been sort of race against Labour. And he's as fast as anything that's in him. It's going to be very, very hard to knock out, so that would be my
Okay, but you put in the charity bet. Ballymac John. Write that down off the Ian.
Well, there's lots I'd like to mention. Robbie, I just mentioned Roman Man there. He was 1 from 11 in Ireland, and I think I was on him 6 of the 10. So, there have been wounds.
Don't bet him.
Come over when his first 10 in Ireland, or in the UK, where I have to tell you, I hate him on a few of those occasions. The scars are still there, but yeah, horribly fast player. That's why I was backing him all those nights. So I could see what was going to happen. It was going to happen, and it did happen in the UK. Unfortunately, I went the opposite way, decided not to take him on. Swords Rex is one of mine, no question. Rather than sticking in Clone and Duke, we'll go for a couple of bigger prices. My price wise is going in the post tomorrow, so we'll stick with the two in there. John Joe, 50 to 160, 61. I think he gets a perfect and fair price for a dog who has unlimited pace and power. And just one that just doesn't seem to be fashioned at the moment. He didn't run well in his trial stake, didn't happen for him. And he didn't run great in his first race back this year in the Shelton Park, although he won his most he was second in our ledger, yes, Motorsports or Bobsleigh Lincoln 6 or 8 behind him was even, but he won on the Winter Racing Festival. He's another lovely
He ran like a leg fell off.
Absolutely. I just feel that at 66 to 1, Dolores Ruth is coming over with him. Now, Dolores Ruth is, like, when I say she's hot, she's ready. She's just an incredible trainer.
She's not coming over to make up.
She's not, because I'll tell you something, she's bringing over Tullagraven with them. And Tullagraven isn't our first home, I'm sure of that, right? Because as far as I was concerned, that Buckley was more than willing to say goodbye to him. I think Huss Bengal is obviously showing enough at home to suggest that it's right to improve and improve and improve. And he is potentially going to get a couple of gimmies early. If he finds his best form, at 66 to 1, Dalby was second in the ledger and won the Winter Racing Festival, open by 5th of all at Shelton Park. I think that's a bit of an insult for Dalby. While the form this year hasn't inspired me, I think he's worked a little each way. He's been John Joe at 50 and Swords Rex. In terms of the €100, like at 11 to 1, I'll stick with the Swords Rex because genuinely I think he could really be happy.
Okay, good stuff. Lofty.
So, we've actually mentioned sort of earlier, I'll be the same sort of Rex with Ian, and we also mentioned 6 Hitler. Not mentioned so far, his distant podge with Barry Drapers, who I think's taken really advantage of us. And Barry's been a long time back to the likes of Dino's and Barry McHesky, and Draper was the king really. He's got a real nice topic, I think, for the distant podge. He's been in and out a couple of times last year, not really, but I think up 40 to 1 chance. Which sort of be really suited by Toast. He's got that sort of keen, nice early place, being in the right place at the right time. Gets to 500 okay. I think in about 40 chance he could run one of the best in English, I think. I think he's about overpriced what he is at 40, so yeah, distant watch. But of course, an each way bet charity, but that myself, the each way bet. Of course I will, yeah, I want to fix there we go, then yeah. So each way distant watch, there we go.
Right, I'm going to take a flyer with Lataro. I'll probably end up beating himself at some point during the dog. I think he's too big at 66 to 1. Romeo Kamara at ground. We've got the Jolie. Right, for Kevin Hunt in the early pace. Right, just to fill everyone in, whether you're in the room or on the stream, what the Star Sports coverage is going to be this year's Greyhound. We've got Emily Wallace vlogging. I think Carly Philpott's going to be on site with interviews. We mentioned the press challenge. 48 runners.
48 runners, big field this year, yeah.
Poor old Dave.
Each way 6 places too. That's a bit of an effort that to find 6 places each way. 48 runners. Well, maybe we'll price that one up in the office.
And you guys are going to be on site.
We'll be on calls all the time.
Outright and heat.
Outright and heat. You'll get some good prices with us. Kevin said earlier when we'll get a decent bet with us on the track. We don't shy away from any bet. And all the other bookmakers there as well. It's not only us bet there. The other layers who bet there. We'll give a free, a decent fair bet as well. So yeah, come to the bet and ring. None of this like getting locked back in the shops and whatever. Anyone watching on the stream, you want to go and bet with bet 365 and only £3 so don't do that. Come and see us on the track, we're there 108, 110% good value. You'll get on.
You'll get on. Right, Simon Knott will be there as well, so if you to relay what Lofty's been up to.
He's a celebrity, Simon. I was in York last week, and more people speak to Simon Knott than they do the Queen. They all come up behind the joint, Simon Knott, good to meet you. He's like some, whatever Ben's paying when he's starting up, obviously Ben, he's getting too big. You call him the artist, Ben, like Simon Knott.
That's his choice of trousers.
I
was impressed by his trousers.
Yeah.
Well, I won't keep anyone from their dinner, because it has arrived, but I will, if anyone has got any questions for, probably not for Lofty, but for Ian, stick your hand up. Make yourself, you want to ask about any of the Irish runners, any of Mark's runners. I think everyone's hungry by the looks of it. That will be it, I think. Thank you to